Hey, 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 welcome, welcome, welcome. Did you know Charlie Perry is on Fireside? Did you know the Really Charlie podcast is on Fireside? Did you not know is the question. Hey, hey, welcome, welcome everybody. And if you're here live with me, then I am very, very happy. If you're listening to me on replay, I'm just as happy because it's very, very important that we support each other on this little voyage on Fireside. And as we put on shows one after another and taking our time to create a very, very wonderful platform. So, without further ado, I decided that I was going to go ahead and just do this segment. Did you know? And the reason is just because I'm getting used to Fireside. I'm trying to create some things and some interactions with people here and actually invite some guests here. But I want to have a better understanding of what's going on Fireside. So I think the easiest way is for me to create something like this. Did you know? And as I was creating the title and I was like, all right, so if I go ahead and I create something, let me make sure no one else has it, you know? So as I'm looking on different podcasts and I seen Did You Know? It was on a few platforms. So what I did is I decided to say or title it Did You Know dot dot stuff. And when I say stuff is like I want to say it like Tony Cordova says it. If you listen to him, I can't remember what podcast it, but he said stuff. Stuff. That's the way I want to emphasize this. Did you know stuff? So I have quite a few facts, and mainly what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically find different stories, whether it's historic stories, it could be um, unsolved crimes, stuff like that, you know, and just bring it to you. And I'm going to do it every week on Thursdays, just before the football game, get me all geared up and talk to my great, good friends here. And that's what I'm going to do. So, what I have, and I have some facts from parade.com, and it's different things, did you know? So, let me start out with the first one. All right. The first one is Did you know it's illegal to feed pigeons on the sidewalk and streets in San Francisco? Sure, a sprinkle of breadcrumbs to feed hungry birds may seem harmless, but in the popular Californian town or city, you could get in trouble. San Francisco's Public Works Department explains this law is in place because there are dozens of reasons why you shouldn't feed your new pigeon friends. But mainly, feeding pigeons harm our neighborhoods and also harm the birds. Well, I guess I think the most alarming thing would be hundreds of pigeons flying over your head. And I don't want pigeon droppings all over me. I really don't. I don't. I mean, that would be the most scariest thing. Feeding them and they're at your feet, and they just want to eat. And as far as breadcrumbs possibly being harmful to them, I doubt that. They wouldn't eat it, you know. They are animals, and I mean, anyways. So San Francisco, I definitely understand. Heavily, heavily populated city in California. Tons and tons of people, tons and tons of pigeons, and tons of droppings. So if I'm going to San Francisco, I'm not feeding the pigeons. I'm not looking ahead. I mean, up. Definitely not. Don't want anything. I'd rather land on my head, land on my shoulder. They say it's good luck. So, a law in San Francisco. I got another did you know stuff. Did you know an astronaut was allergic to the moon? Seems like someone had a tremendous allergy problem during the Apollo 17 mission. Thank you. During the Apollo 17 mission, astronaut Harrison Schmitt found out that he had a severe reaction to moon dust. Well, it's out of this world that allergy is, right? Out of this world. Obviously something new, something that's probably not on Earth. So, yeah, he probably would be allergic to it. And some other astronauts wasn't. Maybe they didn't get as much. But that's crazy. Being allergic to the moon. Give me the moon any day. Moonlight, kind of dinner, picnic. Well, I don't want to say picnic. I try to avoid that word. Date with your spouse, your partner, kind of sitting out on a blanket. The moon up in the sky, and you're just chilling, talking, having conversation, great conversation. So the moon is good. I definitely am not allergic to the moon. It causes a lot of things in my head, in my mind, especially that I write. I'm a writer, poet. So things like that, images like that will get me going. Uh, so I love the moon. Ooh, this is something different. Did you know? Did you know there's a toilet museum in New Delhi? The International Museum of Toilets features a rare collection that details historic evolution of toilets from 2500 BC and all the way up to the present day. When you browse through the exhibit, you learn about the plumbing system of ancient societies. Marvel at the elaborate, decorated toilets of the 18th and 19th century Europe. Even to get a sit upon one of them, let me back up. And even to get to sit upon one of them from Austria that is shaped like a lion. I don't know about you, but I ain't shitting on a lion. Arr. No, I am not shitting on a lion. But could you imagine that? Well, we all got to go. You got to pick a place. And so in New Delhi, they have a toilet museum. Now, this is not on this list here from parade.com, but I found out, and I was doing some little digging in some research. If a polar bear and a grizzly bear meet up, one's a male, one's a female, and they decide to get busy, what you would call that offspring is a Pizzly bear. Polar, Grizzly, Pizzly. It's crazy. It's kind of like a biracial couple. They end up having an offspring. In this case, you got a polar bear. You can call it bipolar. It's supposed to laugh. Anyways, no joking around bipolar. All right. So, yeah, Pizzly. First time I heard that. First time I ever heard about those two animals mating. I mean, they're both bears, but occasionally so you get lonely, especially in the North South Pole. You get lonely. Anyways, did you know the official bird of Redondo Beach, California, is the Goodyear blimp? Interesting. I've been to Redondo Beach. I loved swimming on that beach. Later on, I found out that there are a lot of sharks out there. All right, let's see. What we got here. Hello. Bring Tony to the stage here. You there, Tony? Hey. All right, Tony, I got you, man. You gotta go. No problem, brother. If I appreciate you so much, man. Thanks to you, I am here. I am definitely on Fireside. Thanks to you. I really, really appreciate you, brother. And I enjoy listening to all your shows. The last one I had to listen with you and Jill, I had to listen to that on replay because I was just a little late getting off my podcast and then squaring things away and getting on to your show. So I appreciate you, brother. I'm right. One of my favorites here on Fireside. Appreciate them. All right, so in 1983, the Goodyear blimp. Let me start over. In 1983, the coastal city made the Goodyear blimp their official city bird in anticipation of the 1984 Summer Olympics. They even presented a plaque to a team from the Goodyear Airship Operations to help celebrate their decision. So the Goodyear blimp is the official bird of Redondo Beach. Great little town. All right. Did you know 3 U.S. presidents have won Grammys? Never knew that. Former President Jimmy Carter has won 3 Grammy Awards in the Best Spoken Word Album category. The first one was Our Endangered Values, America's Moral Crisis in 2007. 2007, yes. Next came A Full Life Reflections at 90 in 2016. Finally, Faith, A Journey for All in 2019. That's all from President Jimmy Carter. And he received Grammys for those. In 2004, Bill Clinton won Best Spoken Word Album for My Life. Just a year prior to 2003, he won the Best Spoken Word Album for Children with, wow, that's $1 million word. But it's called Peter and the Wolf. And President Clinton won a Grammy for that. Finally, but not least, Barack Obama won a couple of golden megaphones of his own. He won Best Spoken Word Album in 2006 for the narration of his book, Dreams from a Father audiobook. In 2008, he took home another one when he took home the Grammy for Best Spoken Word Album for the audiobook version of The Audacity of Hope. Real nice book. I read that. All right. Graciela, my friend. Yes, that girl is awesome with a capital A. She's got some great things going on. I like following her. And sooner or later, we're going to have her on the Really Charlie podcast. I would like to bring it to you on Fireside, but I'm living and learning. And but I like to get an actual guest on here on the Really Charlie podcast. And Graciela is definitely one that I want on here, one of the first. Um, she inspires me every day. Keeps me toned, just kind of relaxes me like R&B music does, just chills me out, and I love that. All right, let's see. Did you know Viking men wore makeup? It's all right. They were kind of ugly dudes, man. They may need to be touched up a little bit. Um, it's no doubt that the Vikings were some of the toughest men in history books. However, they cared about their appearance enough that makeup was part of their everyday routine. Mm, interesting. Big bad Viking with lipstick, eyeshadow, eyeliner. Hey, tough life back then, wasn't it? All right, we got another. Did you know? Did you know you can get your eyeballs tattooed? If you're looking to get your entire body tattooed, you don't need to stop at your eyeballs. Many hardcore tattoo fans are getting the whites of their eyes injected with ink of all kinds of colors, ranging from green to purple. However, there are some risks involved, such as pain, prolonged blurred, and double vision. Well, let me tell you something. I totally want to discourage you from doing that. As you see, I have glasses. I had LASIK surgery. I had a cornea transplant with about 33 stitches in my eye. And it was very painful. And to this day, I still have complications. So do not let anybody touch your eye unless you really need it. So, hey, well, I'll continue on. I got a few more things to do, but I just want to give you a little update. And feel free if you want to come on and speak, talk about anything. There may be something that you know that you want to kind of share with us. Uh, this is called Did You Know Stuff, because there's many podcasts titled Did You Know? So I had to kind of change it up and just name it Did You Know Stuff. You know, I will bring up some history. I found some great history, especially there's something I want to bring up next week. It's called the Bleeding Kansas. The Bleeding Kansas was very instrumental to this country, and it talks about many things. So I want to get more material on it and have a conversation about that. And it's probably going to be something that lasts a little while. So, and it's got a lot to do with the Underground Railroad. Bleeding Kansas was unbelievable, and it kind of divided the state. People fought, and Kansas went to the Union side of the Civil War, and he actually made the Union much bigger, based on slavery. So I'm going to talk about that next time. All right. Let's see. Here's some football. Did you know? Did you know the Eagles Stadium once had a courtroom? Veterans Stadium, where the Philadelphia Eagles once played, had a stadium courtroom and jailed to handle the team's notoriously rowdy fans. However, one of the judges from for said courtroom reported that 95% of the inmates were actually not from the city itself. Could you imagine that? People getting locked up, you're utilizing their resources from the state to have a judge in the courthouse during a football game, and it's from people outside Philadelphia. Well, Philadelphia Eagles has a large fan base, not as large as their rival, the Cowboys or the Giants, but it's up there. It is. And I might be wrong, but that's just my opinion. Did you know that the letter Q, is not in the name of any of the states of the United States? None of the states have the letter Q in it. Amazing, huh? Did you know a jockey once won a race? This is crazy. A jockey once won a race after he had died. Frank Hayes was hailed as the winner at a race at Belmont Park, right outside New York City in 1923. However, there was a slight problem. Hayes suffered a heart attack and died in the middle of the race. So the celebration wasn't actually sweet, but his horse actually won the race. Crazy. And did you know that sharks like the taste of the internet? If sharks' attacks give you the heebie-jeebies, you and the people over at Google aren't alone. In 1987, it was reported by the New York Times that sharks have shown a taste for the new fiber optic cables that are being strung along the ocean floor, linking the United States, Europe, and Japan. So sharks are eating it. Our cable TV, our cable wires is actually shark bait. Go figure. Oh, wow. I never knew this. Did you know that Winston Churchill was hit by a car and nearly killed during a New York visit? Talk about an all-American welcome. During the lecture in the United States in December 1931, Winston Churchill was struck by a car while crossing Fifth Avenue and nearly killed. Fortunately, he survived the accident. Could you imagine that? Just think of all the stuff that man has done for this world, for humanity. He has done tremendous. But so that's 1931, and he was tremendously useful during World War II, which is years later. Wow, we would have missed that. And from 1931 to the 1940s, just think of all the things that he did or accomplished. It would have been null and void. New York is a dangerous city. Please, walking around New York City, do not play games in the traffic anywhere. All right. All right. Well, that's a lot. I gave you some facts, and I just wanted to kind of get. Thank you, Gracio. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get used to Fireside. It's I'm trying to make sure that the support is great. You call support, they answer all your questions. and they got all the answers, of course. But I'm basically trying to get used to getting people on and producing a podcast, because I do a podcast every week, and it would be great to add my guest to Fireside. So important, only because I really appreciate, the way you interact with each other, this reaction button, you can comment, you can get on the stage. It's fast. It's just great. So it's one of a kind. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to get a guest on here, but I want to get a better understanding. So meanwhile, what I'll do is, did you know stuff? I will do that, and just maybe just have a solo podcast here on here, and but I have to speak to the pros like Graciela, like Woody, like Tony and Jill and Sam and Dave. I'm gonna have to talk to them. Those are my favorites. I like what they're doing, so I gotta definitely talk to them. Chris, another one, my San Francisco dude there, who's always washing the dishes. So I like to kind of talk to them and get a better understanding of Fireside. So, Graciela, please keep in touch. We definitely want to lock down that podcast date for you and I, and definitely want to highlight your profession, what you're doing. You're on social media all over the place, and so it'd be really, really, excuse the word, really, a pleasure to have you on the Really Charlie podcast, because you will make it a better podcast just by being on it, because your soul, you got it. When you see both your parents give them a high five, and they raised a beautiful woman, and you definitely got a good soul. All right, everyone. I want to just end just like this. And my motto here on this podcast, on this show, is, did you know that Charlie Perry is on Fireside? Did you know the Really Charlie podcast is on Fireside? Did you know, or did you not know, is the question. And I'm going to try to bring as much stuff to you as I can. God bless. Continue to support me. Continue to follow me like I will do for you. I appreciate it. And please have a good